Now let's do a challenge problem with arc length and sector area. Find the radius of the sector to the nearest tenth. All right, so now we have a sector of a circle. We know, now do we know sector area or do we know arc length? Well, notice that it's in centimeters, not centimeters squared. So that has to be arc length. Oops. So we are given an arc. And we want to find the radius. Well, we can still use our arc length formula since we're working with arc length. The only difference is our unknown won't be arc length, it'll be the radius. So remember that the formula for arc length is central angle over 360 times 2 pi r. All right, so now let's fill in the values. So for arc length, we have 45 centimeters, and just 45. Right here is our central angle, 30 degrees. And then this is multiplication, times 2 times pi times r. All right, so now we want to simplify this first so that we have an easier equation to solve. Well, right off the bat, I see that 30 and that 360, and we could reduce that. I'm just going to move this out of the way. So 30 and 360, I could cancel out the zeros. I could reduce 30 and 360 a little bit more, right? Because 3 divided by 3 is 1. 36 divided by 3 is 12. I could reduce one more time, right? 2 and the 12. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So you see, this is just like when you were solving for arc length, except our unknown isn't over here, it's over here. But just like before, let's simplify it. Let's multiply what we have in the numerator, what we have in the denominator, and let's see what we have. So we have 45 equals, in the numerator, we have pi times r. In the denominator, we have a 6. Well, if you remember, when we were working with similar triangles, we used a proportion to solve for a missing part. This is just a proportion. We could just cross multiply, right? Now, we could solve it like an equation, multiply by 6 to get rid of the 6, divide by pi. But I think you'll find this easier because it will just make this a nice equation, and then we can just isolate our variable. So 1 times pi r, and I'll work over here, is just pi r. Actually, let me multiply, just keep the 45 in the same spot. 45 times 6, that's going to be 240 plus 30, that's 270. So I have 270 equals, and then 1 times pi r is pi r. Now do you see how easy this equation is to solve? All right, so cross multiply will be the easiest way to isolate our variable. We only have one step left, and that one step is to divide by pi. And then we'll have our radius, and then we'll just round to the nearest tenth. Now, I'm going to use the calculator on my computer, and instead of say, though 3.14 will probably be close enough for you to figure out an answer to a multiple choice test. Let's use the pi button and be a little bit more exact. So we have our radius is equal to 270 divided by pi, which is, now I got to get my calculator back. So 270 divided by pi, so now we have more decimals, equals, right? So we have 85.943. It said to round to the nearest tenth. All right, so if I've got 9, right, I got 0.94, 4 rounds down. So that would be 85.9, and that is in centimeters. The same as units as our arc length. Right? And that's all there is to it. All right, so it's a little tricky. You might want to take notes on this one to use to help you solve that problem when you're taking the formative. It's a little tricky, but all we're doing is isolating r. We're just simplifying like we've always done. And then once we've simplified as much as we can, we're going to cross multiply. We'll just have an equation to solve. And you'll need to probably divide by pi, maybe something else, or maybe just pi. All right, so thanks for watching, and bye for now.